When you get rich, tell no one. That isn't a suggestion. It's your first rule of survival. That number, whether it comes from a lottery ticket, a crypto moonshot, or a surprise inheritance, it's not the finish line. It's the starting gun. A two-front war has just been declared against you, and you are the target. The first front is external, a world of strangers, and even people you trust, who now see a dollar sign painted on your back. But the second front is far more dangerous. It's the internal battle against the psychological traps that are now your single greatest liability. Statistics show 70% of lottery winners end up broke within 5 years. That's not just a statistic, it's a warning. They're given the money, but they are never given the briefing. They are handed a weapon, but never taught the discipline to use it. They think the game is about spending. The game is survival. So forget the fantasy. Today I'm giving you the briefing they never got. First, we will build your psychological armor. Then, we will install the non-negotiable defensive system you need to protect it. This is your blueprint for winning the unseen war. Let's begin by redefining the battlefield itself. Before we build your fortress, we must ask a fundamental question. What does it actually mean to be rich? For most, the dream of wealth is a finish line, the destination of luxury and ease, the mansion, the car, the endless vacation. But that's an illusion. It's a marketing fantasy. The reality for most who get there suddenly is not peace. It's chaos. Let me be clear. Sudden wealth doesn't solve your problems. It magnifies them. It pours gasoline on the small, hidden fires of your own insecurities. It exposes the cracks in your relationships. It tests your discipline in ways you cannot possibly imagine. Think of it this way. Your life before was a structure with a few small, manageable cracks. Sudden wealth is a tidal wave hitting that structure. It doesn't fix the cracks. It exploits them, tearing them wide open until the entire foundation collapses. This is the brutal reality. This is why we must make a critical distinction. Rich is a temporary state. It's a large number in an account. Wealth is a permanent structure. Being rich is having money. Being wealthy is having a system that ensures you keep the money, and more importantly, that the money doesn't break you. Your success or failure will be determined not over a lifetime, but in the first 100 days. It's in this window that the war is truly won or lost. The choices you make, the systems you build, and the impulses you resist in these first 3 months will echo for the rest of your life. So let's start the clock. Your first mission begins now. We will secure the first 72 hours. This is your lockdown protocol. 3 powerful, predictable impulses will rise up. If you act on any of them in this initial window, the game is likely already lost. First is the impulse to announce. The deep human need for validation will urge you to share the news. You'll want to post it. You'll want to call that person who doubted you. You'll want to finally prove that you've made it. But an announcement is not a celebration, it's a broadcast. You are telling every scammer, every distant relative, and every frivolous lawsuit that you are open for business. Silence is your shield. The moment you break it, you have willingly walked into the battlefield with no armor. It is the single worst strategic error you can make. Second is the impulse to spend. Your brain is desperate to make this abstract number feel real, to turn digital figures into something tangible. The car, the watch, the house. The urge will be overwhelming. It feels like a reward you've earned, even if it was pure luck. This is a neurological trap called dopamine baselining. The thrill of the first big purchase fades quickly, and your brain now requires an even bigger purchase to feel the same high. It is a dangerous cycle of escalating spending. Buying a liability in this state isn't a victory lap. It's the first step toward financial ruin. We must delay all gratification. Third, and perhaps the most difficult, is the impulse to help. This one feels noble. It feels right. And it is incredibly dangerous. You will immediately think of every person who has ever struggled and feel an immense pressure to be their savior, to fix all their problems with a check. There is a world of difference between empowering someone and enabling them. One builds them up, the other makes them dependent on you forever. Handing out money without a system enables. It creates resentment when the money stops. It can destroy relationships and financial habits in a single transaction. True help is strategic. It's about providing tools, not just cash. But you cannot possibly design that system in the emotional chaos of the first 72 hours. So your mission for the first 72 hours is simple. You will fight these 3 impulses by doing absolutely nothing. You will disappear, and you will make one single phone call. The first internal enemy, as we mentioned, is sudden wealth syndrome. This isn't just a feeling. It's a profound psychological dislocation. It manifests as intense paranoia, guilt, and a total loss of identity. You no longer know who to trust, and worse, you no longer know who you are without the struggle that defined you. This syndrome is not a theory. While the following is a historical example for purely educational purposes, consider the cautionary tale of Jack Whittaker, who won a $314 million jackpot in 2002. He was celebrated. He was generous. He was also unprotected. He famously told the media he planned to give away much of his wealth. That announcement, that single impulse, painted a target on his back. He was robbed multiple times, sued frivolously, and constantly harassed for handouts. His story is a stark reminder. Without a psychological defense and a system of silence, the money will consume your life before you ever get a chance to use it. The second internal enemy is the ego trap. This is the voice in your head that whispers, "You deserve this. You're a genius." This is a cognitive bias. The money was a random event, not a reward for genius. Believing otherwise is the fastest way to make terrible, high-risk investments. You start believing you have a golden touch. You invest in your brother-in-law's restaurant. You back a speculative tech startup you know nothing about. You are no longer investing. You are gambling with an inflated sense of skill. A strategist knows their circle of competence. An egoist believes they don't have one. The third and most subtle enemy is emotional accounting. Your brain literally categorizes this new money differently than the money you worked for. It feels like house money, monopoly money. It doesn't have the psychological weight of a salary you bled for, making you dangerously reckless. You'll take risks with it you would never take with your own savings. You'll spend it more freely. This single bias is the primary fuel for lifestyle inflation. And this is where the fourth and final psychological horseman appears, the hedonic treadmill. This is the science of why new things don't bring lasting happiness. Your brain has a baseline level of happiness. A new purchase gives you a temporary spike, but you inevitably return to that baseline. The problem is, each spike makes the baseline a little lower. Now you need even more stimulation, an even bigger purchase, to feel the same level of excitement. It's a neurologically backed addiction. The only way to win this internal war is to starve these enemies. You do not fight them. You make them irrelevant by building a system. Your new dopamine hit doesn't come from a purchase. It comes from seeing the system work, from the quiet satisfaction of a disciplined process. Syndrome, ego, recklessness, and the treadmill. Those are the enemies inside the walls. But now you can see them. Now you can name them. And now we can build a system to defeat them. With the internal war managed, it's time to build your fortress. This is the practical, tactical framework for making yourself financially invisible. It has three core components: the council, the firewall, and the scripts. Component 1. Assemble your war council. From this moment on, you are the CEO, not the receptionist. All inbound requests are handled by your professional gatekeepers. This council has two non-negotiable members you hire in the first 72 hours, a specialized wealth attorney and a fee-only financial advisor. And I must stress, fee-only. This is critical. A fee-only advisor is paid a flat rate by you. They are legally obligated to act in your best interest. Most advisors are fee-based, meaning they get commissions for selling you products. They are not your strategists. They are salespeople. The distinction is everything. When vetting an advisor, you will ask them one question directly: are you a fiduciary? If they hesitate, if they use complex language, if they do not give you a simple, instant yes, you walk away. Period. The job of your counsel is to be the bad guy, to make the unemotional, logical decisions that you will be too emotionally compromised to make when dealing with loved ones. Component 2 is the firewall. This is the legal and psychological barrier between your assets and the world. It starts with the information locked out. The only people who know the full number are you and your counsel, no one else. This isn't about distrust. It's about protecting your relationships from the corrosive pressure of a number. I mean it. Not your parents, not your siblings, not even your spouse. At first, the number is a secret until the system is built. Because once the number is out, it can never be taken back. It will permanently alter the dynamic of every relationship you have. Protect them and yourself by enforcing silence. The legal side of the firewall is the trust. In simple terms, your attorney will help you create a separate legal entity, a sort of personal company that owns the assets. This is the single most powerful move for asset protection. It separates your personal life from the money. It shields you from frivolous lawsuits and makes you a much harder target. Now you have a psychologically powerful tool. When someone asks for help, you can honestly say, all my assets are managed by a firm in a trust. I legally can't touch the principal. That firewall is your defense. It brings us to component 3, the scripts. These are your pre-planned responses for the inevitable, difficult conversations. Let's run the simulations. The final component of your defense is your scripts. Panic and guilt will make you say the wrong thing in the moment. You must have pre-planned, rehearsed responses. Scenario 1. The direct ask for money. This will likely come from a family member or a close friend. It is the most emotionally difficult test you will face. Your goal here is not to win an argument. It is to preserve the relationship while protecting your assets. A simple no feels like a personal rejection. A strategic no feels like a structural limitation. You do not say no. You say this: I would love to help, but my advisors have structured everything where I can't make personal loans. Notice what this does. It immediately establishes that you are no longer a single person, but part of a professional system. It transfers the blame to an outside, unemotional entity. This protects their dignity and yours. You are not rejecting them. You are simply following the rules of your new structure. But you don't stop there. You follow up with, however, what I can do is pay for you to meet with an excellent financial planner to help you build a long-term plan. You pivot from being a bank to being a resource. You shift from enabling to empowering. This is the hand up, not the handout. Scenario 2. The business pitch. This one is more dangerous. Your response must be even firmer, because here, you're not just risking money, you're risking the relationship itself. You say, my counsel has a non-negotiable rule against investing in private deals from friends or family. They call it relationship poison, and they're right. If it goes well, it creates jealousy. If it goes badly, it creates resentment. Either way, our relationship is damaged. I value our friendship far too much to take that risk. These scripts are not suggestions. They are your new rules of engagement. They are difficult, but they are necessary to protect both your wealth and your relationships. This framework is your first line of defense, but mastering these conversations and building a truly resilient, multi-generational structure, that is a masterclass in itself. I've distilled the entire philosophy and the advanced tactical plays into my book, The Silent System. It's the complete blueprint for building quiet, protected wealth. If you are serious, this is the advanced manual for what we've discussed. The link and QR code are on your screen now. And a quick note, that link directs to the US store. For local shipping, just change the .com in the URL to your country's domain, like .in for India. Once your defenses are secure, you face the final and most seductive trap. Most people use sudden wealth to buy more expensive chains. A mansion that owns you, a fleet of cars that requires constant maintenance. These are not assets. They are golden anchors pulling you down. The true strategist understands the mission has changed. You are no longer trying to get rich. You are now trying to stay free. And the only way to do that is to define and build towards your freedom figure. This is the most important number in your new life. Your freedom figure is the amount of invested capital you need to generate your ideal annual income, forever, without ever touching the principal. The formula is your desired annual income times 25. This is based on the 4% rule of withdrawal, a time-tested benchmark for sustainable financial freedom. So let's do this now. Take a moment. What is the annual income you need to live your ideal yet reasonable life? We're not talking private jets. We're talking a life of comfort and autonomy. Is it $100,000? $200,000? Find your number. Now, multiply it by 25. That is your new North Star. That lump sum is not for spending. It is the engine. It must be protected, invested, and grown. You don't spend the engine. You live off the power it creates. This is the ultimate mindset shift. Money is not for buying things. Money is for buying time. It is for buying back your life, one day at a time. A $40,000 watch doesn't tell time better, but $40,000 invested can buy you weeks and eventually months of time where you are beholden to no one. Every major purchase decision must now be filtered through a new question. Not can I afford it? The answer is now always yes. The question is, does this buy me more freedom or less? The Ferrari buys you attention and a high insurance bill. The reliable Toyota buys you anonymity and more capital to deploy into your freedom engine. Choose wisely. This is the core battle against lifestyle inflation. The more you inflate your lifestyle, the more you increase your cost of living, and the harder your freedom engine has to work. Every dollar you add to your annual overhead is another $25 you must add to your investment principal. It's a trap that keeps you working forever. Let's make this brutally simple. If your freedom figure is $5 million, but you inflate your lifestyle and now need $200,000 a year instead of $1 million, You've just forced yourself to find another $5 million. You have achieved the ultimate irony. You are a multi-millionaire, but you have rebuilt a prison for yourself. A golden cage is still a cage. So here is the final reframe. The ultimate power move. Do not use your principal to buy liabilities. Use your principal to buy assets that pay for those liabilities. You don't buy the $500,000 car. You buy $1 million asset that generates $50,000 a year in cash flow, and you use that to lease the car. The car is temporary, but the asset is permanent. The asset continues to pay you long after the car is gone. This is the difference between playing rich and being wealthy. You want to travel the world first class? Excellent. Don't spend $200,000 from your principal. Build a $2 million dividend portfolio that pays you $80,000 a year. Your travels are now funded by your system, not your starting capital. Your engine remains intact. Your freedom is preserved. This is the single most important rule for long-term wealth preservation. Live off the interest, never the principal. Live off the fruit, never the tree. This requires a profound rewiring of your brain, away from the consumer mindset and into the mindset of a capital allocator. It is the hardest and most rewarding work you will do. The rich man buys the apple. The wealthy man buys the orchard. The rich man eats for a day. The wealthy man and his children eat for a lifetime. The silent system is not about restriction. It is about building your own orchard so that you can have all the apples you want forever without ever having to cut down a single tree. You've built the fortress. You've secured your freedom. The war for your own survival is over. But the mission of a true strategist is never just about themselves. There is one final stage. One final enemy to conquer, not an enemy of money, but an enemy of time. There is an old adage that haunts the wealthy, from shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. It's a documented historical pattern. The first generation builds, the second maintains, the third, born into comfort and disconnected from the principles that created it, destroys. Why does this happen? Because they transfer the assets, but they fail to transfer the system. They pass down the money, but not the wisdom. Transferring money without knowledge is often a destructive act. It can strip away motivation, create dependence, and lead to the rapid erosion of a fortune. The ultimate purpose of the silent system is not just to build a legacy of assets, but to build a legacy of builders. Your final mission is to become a teacher. This education starts early. You teach your children the owner's mindset with 3 jars for their allowance, 1 for spending, 1 for a short-term saving goal, and 1 for building. That 3rd jar is their first introduction to capital allocation. It is the seed from which their own silent system will one day grow. As they grow, you involve them in age-appropriate discussions. You show them a local business and explain that owning a stock means owning a tiny piece of that store. You demystify the world of finance, stripping away the jargon and revealing it for what it is, a system of ownership and common sense. You are not just building a financial legacy, you are forging a chain of capability. You are creating a lineage of builders, each equipped with the timeless principles to protect what you started. This is the ultimate expression of the silent system, ensuring the structure you so carefully built can stand for generations, a source of security and opportunity for those who follow. A true legacy is not a pile of money. It is a set of principles. It is the wisdom to withstand the storms, and the patience to let the seeds of wealth grow untouched. This is the final victory in the two-front war. Not just securing your own freedom, but creating a blueprint for the freedom of those who will come long after you are gone. We have reached the end of this briefing. You now have the mindset of a strategist. You have the blueprint for your fortress. You have won the first, most important battle. You know how to defeat the enemy within, and you have the system to defend against the enemy without. You understand that true wealth isn't what you own, it's the freedom you command. You have transformed from a target into a strategist, from a consumer into a builder. This is the foundation. Now, it is time to execute. Since you've made it to the end of this deep dive, it's clear you have a genuine interest in understanding how the financial system truly works. For your next step, I highly recommend the videos now appearing on your screen. They build on these foundational concepts and will further sharpen your analytical edge, helping you to build your own framework for financial resilience. If this video provided you with a new framework for thinking, the most valuable thing you can do is like and subscribe so you never miss another strategic briefing. Thank you for watching.